Conference Finals presented by Bookies.com here on the NBA Cast. If you're first time joining us, what you do is you just mute your TV and sync up with us and hopefully get a little bit different aspect to the commentary, a little more X's and O's focus, a little more analytics focused. And probably the biggest thing that I wanted to focus on here at the start is the news that the Lakers will be returning to their traditional starting lineup with Javale McGee at center.
Yeah, and presumably this is a focus on Nikola Jokic, who has been absolutely excellent in these playoffs, much improved defensively. I'm sure we'll talk about that over the course of the game. But the idea to slow him down, I actually think the bigger impact of this is it makes the Lakers significantly easier to defend. One of the things that Denver did well in the second half of the conference finals was really plugging up the lane, making life harder on Kawhi Leonard. And while Kawhi is somewhat different than LeBron and Anthony Davis, it's the same general idea. And so I'm wondering if the Lakers are going to be more challenged offensively by going big.
Yeah, that's the thought. You're giving Jokic a place to hide out instead of making him guard someone. And then also JaVale McGee guarding Nikola Jokic in space out in the perimeter. With the way Jokic has been shooting, you really have to question whether he's going to be able to do that or not. So here comes the tip. JaVale is a favorite on the tip, at least. That's one thing you can point to. And I'm liking the Lakers in their traditional yellow jerseys, but Denver controls the tip. So JaVale has failed. Let's see what the Nuggets get into here early. They want to get a screen for Jokic on the post. He's going to attack against McGee. Double comes a little bit. Oh, McGee with the block. It does hit the end line, though, and 6 to shoot for Denver. So Danny Green got a little stunt, and McGee with the block, and he's rightfully fired up.
Yeah, and having that length is a real benefit because that allows Jokic, even if he gets to a spot, it's harder to recover.
And then JaVale with the effort to get on the ground. And now here is LeBron pushing right through Murray. Does not draw the foul. AD gets it taken away by the athleticism of Grant. Now it's Denver transition. Here comes Grant with the high floater over McGee to open the scoring for the Nuggets.
Yeah, giant killer from a taller than usual player for one of those shots.
Yeah, so LeBron guarded as expected by Jeremy Grant. They're going to go under on LeBron, find Danny Green on the pick and pop. He'll drive, floats up the hook to tie it at 2, but that surely is a shot that the Denver Nuggets are happy to live with. And you see KCP trying to bother Jamal Murray, tire him down. They're going to throw waves of defenders at Murray. I would imagine Caruso and Rondo will see time there also in addition to Danny Green. Here's Jokic looking for that handoff to Murray. Gets the separation. Now against McGee on the switch. Nice behind the back pass. Beautiful work. Murray has thrown that a couple of times, but Jokic, a rare miss on his floater.
Yeah, and we'll see. The Lakers didn't push that hard in transition here. It wasn't a great chance to run, but we'll see what they keep doing.
Side pick and roll. LeBron down the lane, going right at Jokic. They get a couple of stops. 2 missed layups now for LeBron. Here's Millsap against Davis. Not an advantage matchup, and he gives it up. Hand off to Murray. Has space, and I think they're going to get Danny Green for a little bit of a hold on Jokic as he tried to get into his pop.
Yeah, and we've seen a renewed, some points of education on that offensive freedom of movement, and so that's in line with that movement from the refs.
Grant looking for Millsap on the cut. It wasn't there. Now Jokic. Closed down by McGee, and McGee called for a blocking foul by Scott Foster on the baseline.
And while both of these Lakers fouls are of the non-shooting variety, if Denver gets into the bonus early, that can be a way for them to generate offensive things slow down. And the Lakers have been an excellent defense so far in the regular season and the playoffs.
Yeah, what they did to Portland and Houston, 2 very good offenses, was remarkable. Now Murray against McGee on the switch. He's going to try and drive. Pressured from behind. Gets it out. Grant, tough catch. And misses the shot.
And nice threat assessment there from LeBron, going to Gary Harris in the corner, leaving Jeremy Grant.
Good call there. And now here's LeBron again, finding Davis on the roll. You see Jokic able to come over and disrupt. Davis going for the floater, and floaters galore for the Lakers here early.
Yeah, and those aren't necessarily the shots the Lakers want, and they are the shots the Nuggets want. And remember, they're still gumming up the works at the paint.
Jokic now looking to involve Harris in the handoff action. McGee getting out on him. Now Jokic has the size advantage on KCP, and they're going to get McGee for a foul. He tripped Gary Harris as he tried to run back door.
Yeah, and that's Mcgee's second foul, and we'll see if Frank Vogel trusts Dwight Howard in this matchup as well.
Yeah, or we could just see him go back to Markieff Morris. Yeah, you see there the AD LeBron pick and roll. They actually ended up having to switch that. Yeah, might as well stay with JaVale here, Danny, because he's not going to close the game. He's probably going to get to Keith Bogans, actually. Just leave him out there. Murray missed Millsap on the pick and pop. Here's Grant trying LeBron unsuccessfully. Now Jokic will have to create. Oh, he quick shoots it on Mcgee. Now Jokic going after the rebound, and now the Lakers are in transition. 2 Nuggets behind. LeBron setting up the corner 3 for KCP, and that goes down 7-2 Lakers. And the Nuggets have not found the going easy so far here offensively.
And the Clippers didn't really have that kind of go-go very often, but LeBron James is that engine himself.
Now Jokic going at Mcgee in the post again. This time he gets around him and scores. With the 2 fouls, Mcgee a little bit less aggressive going for the block. Pick and roll here, LeBron and AD. Now they swing it to JaVale. They want to get Green out of the corner. Those 3 guys on the other side not going to do much on their own. But here's Green, floater, tries the tip. Millsap controls. Yeah, not going to be easy going for Millsap, offensively guarded by Davis. And now Danny Green sniffed out that back door easily. Here's LeBron again. Does he make another layup? I thought he might have traveled, actually, but did not. And the Lakers out to a 9-4 lead. But
yeah, and that was a non-sequential jump stop, but they didn't call
it. Yeah, so they've gotten away here with Mcgee switching on to Murray until now. But he missed it, and Jokic right there. So you saw the 2 vulnerabilities of the switch. First, the blow-by Murray, and then Jokic on the offensive glass. And KCP was switched on to Jokic and just let him go right to the rim. No attempt to box out whatsoever. Now here's Davis across the lane. Nice underneath to Danny Green, and Lakers offense looking good here early.
Yeah, and doing a nice job of changing the angles there, and Davis kept his head up and found a nice pass.
Murray off the screen. Now leaves it for Jokic. Beautiful pick and roll timing there by Jamal Murray. He's thrown 2 great passes so far. Haven't really had much in the way of stoppages. These guys looking a little tired. Davis going to try Millsap one-on-one for the first time. On the baseline. That's the shot that AD loves. On the baseline with the right hand going from the left side of the floor. Now Murray just going right at Danny Green. Erased by Mcgee, but I think they're going to get the foul first on Danny Green. And I like this tempo, even in the half court, by the Nuggets of just attacking early. That's how they've gotten their last 2 buckets.
And more importantly than the 2 on JaVale, that's Danny Green's second as well.
Yeah, Lakers quite a bit of fouling here. Let's tell our friends about bookies.com here, Danny.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, so bookies.com is all about information, and that includes their expert picks. And interestingly, in this one, Adam Thompson and Mark Stratman made some very different picks. So this for game 1, Thompson, who is at 67% on the season, he picked the over in this game, which was 212.5. Stratman picked the under, so they conflicted there, and he picked the Lakers over the Nuggets. The Lakers are 7-point favorites.
Yeah, you're frozen, actually. You might need to take the background off. It may be too much for our poor machinery here for right now. Give that a shot. Maybe we'll see if we can fix that. Here, I'll just call you back real quick. Okay, now you're back.
Okay.
Technology failed us. We wanted so badly to tell you about bookies.com that we overstressed our computers. But fortunately, we can continue to do that here. And you mentioned that Thompson and Stratman have differing opinions on this game, but both those guys have done a really good job. Thompson in particular has been really good. So other thing about bookies.com is you can click through to legal betting deals in states where betting is legal. They have the best possible deals that you can get for that. So use their information and then click through and give them a piece of the action.
And let me know if the sound is still a little bit shaky on my end, because I did up my levels, so hopefully it's there.
No, yeah, it wasn't the sound. It was your video.
My volume.
Your video was frozen.
Well, no, some people said the volume was low as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so
yeah, you're better. You're better now, I think. Hold on, say some more stuff.
Yeah, I will continue to. So one of the important things so far, the Lakers offense, part of why they've been so efficient is that they've gotten at least one shot on every possession. They have zero turnovers so far compared to two for the Denver Nuggets, and they have two offensive rebounds. So they're winning the possession game early, not dramatically so, but that can be a big factor in a game when both offenses are good, which is not a guarantee here.
All right. What do you foresee for the Lakers off season with a bunch of player options? I think those players will opt into those player options.
Or in the case of KCP, maybe they opt out, but they stay a Laker, and because the Lakers will have the capacity to sign him to a different contract, and I could see a Clutch client looking to get his money. Do you think from BBNBA, do you think that these games might come down to cleaning up the defensive glass? That in transition seemed like the Lakers' best offense. Yeah, I think that could end up being a significant swing in a couple of games, like the overall possession game, but the glass is an important part of that.
Yeah, neither of these teams I think are high turnover teams, and neither of these teams are like huge 3-point volume teams either. So I'm very interested to see who's going to really get to run more. And that's kind of part of the possession game too, and the defensive glass. I think that was maybe part of the thrust of the question. But the Lakers are a big running team. The Nuggets are not, and I think that's something that could be a major advantage for the Lakers because I'm not sure that either of these teams is particularly better in half court offense. And obviously the Laker defense they have superior athletes to the Nuggets. So 13-8, but Murray with a couple of free throws coming. And worth noting before the break, the Nuggets did get at least some semi-transition looks off of makes by just getting into their sets quickly.
And kudos to the TNT person for, even though the Lakers have only committed 4 fouls, to putting Denver's in the bonus because they are shooting free throws the rest of the quarter. Good job.
Yeah, I think it was us complaining that's led to this change, don't you think?
Oh, if it was us complaining, they would have done it like 2.5 years ago. And they would show team fouls. But now, I mean, ESPN's box scores now have that on the play-by-play tab, so that's good enough for me.
All right, no changes personnel-wise either way. Here's LeBron with Jokic getting a hand on it. No advantage gained out of that. Now they want Mcgee to set the screen again to involve Jokic. Jokic getting out on the floor against LeBron. Swings it, and he throws it right to, I think that was Phil Handy sitting in the front row, Lakers assistant coach.
Yeah, there were two guys on that weak side, but both of them were in different places where LeBron threw it.
Yeah, and they did a good job of not letting LeBron use the screen and then corralling him by getting Jokic up to the level of the ball. Let's see if that continues. Millsap wide open on the pick and pop as they had switched up the matchups to put AD on Jokic, and immediately Javale gives up the wide open pick and pop three, and it's tied at 13.
Yeah, and those low volume shooters for the Nuggets will be very important in this series because I think the Lakers are going to concede a lot of those shots like they did against the Rockets.
So I beg your pardon, Kuzma is actually in, and here's AD going into Millsap again. He likes that left hand drive coming back with the right hand on the left side of the floor. Yeah, pretty miserable defensive effort there for the Lakers on that Millsap three. I mean, that's the most open shot of the playoffs basically for anybody. So Davis, after a tough start to the playoffs, right back at his normal playoff level, which is statistically one of the greatest playoff performers in NBA history, as now JaVale will sit down, and they're going with Kuzma at the 4 rather than Markieff Morris, who did play well in that Houston series. We'll see where he gets a chance. Likely, you would think, when they go with AD at center and LeBron out of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
2-point lead for the Lakers. Again, Murray trying to get it up quickly. They're going to double screen for Jokic. Instead, he goes backdoor. Murray off the Millsap screen, gets into the lane. LeBron did not want to leave him. And Murray with the easy Euro step layup. AD did not help as he was worried about Jokic. So that was really Lakers kind of out of sorts there on their pick and roll defense with the smaller pick and roll. Now it's AD. Pick and pop. No, tries to go at Jokic, who cuts him off. And Grant reaches in. I'm not sure who they're getting on this one.
They called that foul on, I believe they called that foul on Jokic.
Yeah, which is interesting. I didn't think Jokic did much here. Yeah, he gets him. That's a good call.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought.
Shoulder on elbow.
Yeah, I thought that Grant had knocked it away, but that wasn't the case. So that is a foul, and I guess they're going to say this is a shooting affair in favor of Davis.
Yeah, he was in the gather. I think that's a fair call.
Yep.
It's always a little bit nebulous, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, NBA players, when they drive, I mean, they're so athletic that they can gather the ball outside the free throw line, going to shoot a legitimate layup or a floater sometimes. So more replacements with Monte Morris replacing Gary Harris. Rajon Rondo has come on. Rondo with a wonderful playoff series against the Houston Rockets, one that I didn't think he was capable of anymore, particularly defensively. And this is the time often that they will sit LeBron. I think he went out of the game as well. We'll see when they zoom out. Yeah, and there he is on the bench.
Yeah, he did.
Rondo usually replaces him to give him some ball handling. So let's watch this Davis-Jokic matchup here. Same play they just ran. They'll switch this with Kuzma. Now they want to set up the screen for Jokic. Davis getting through it. Jokic working him on the block. Gets pushed a little bit. Oh, the cut by Morris went right past Rondo, who was ball watching. Great cut.
Yeah, and the Nuggets, that's been a staple in their offense, is taking advantage of an inattentive defense. But nice finish by Kuzma there.
Yeah, speaking of inattentive defense, the Nuggets did not know who they were guarding. It was Millsap. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Now they're going to switch this. They want to get Jokic at the nail against Caruso. No, instead it's Millsap posting up on Kuzma. Left hand goes awry. Lakers looking to push again. Kuzma picked up by Morris. Has the size advantage there. KCP off that shake up from the corner, but it's corralled by Caruso. Oh, what a beautiful look on that little guard pick and roll by the Lakers. Rondo with an unbelievable pocket pass. And
what was also really fun about that was a guard pick and roll, but both of the players defending them were forwards. And so I think that the quick slip was a real challenge to react for Millsap and Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, and the other reason there's no secondary help is because Jokic is out guarding AD on the perimeter. So here, if you don't mind taking some questions, I'm going to go grab a tea real quick.
Yeah, since people can hear me now, that seems like a good idea. Who is the best defensive coach left in the playoff, considering he's done more with less? Could it be Malone? I think it's Eric Spoelstra. I mean, the amount of different things that the Heat have run so far is really impressive. I think that Malone, particularly in the playoffs, has done a better job with the personnel than I expected. But no, I think Spo has done a great job. And Brad Stevens, I mean, the Celtics guys have gotten better reps now, but I mean, Stevens has done a great job having his teams compete defensively for a long time. So I would say Malone deserves to be, he's in a conversation now, but no, I would say Spo 1, Stevens 2. Is it worth it to just leave AD at the 3 so there can be a body back to protect the rim? So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's a big part of the idea for me. If we're talking about AD spacing on offense, that's a big part of why I think it's better for the Lakers to go small. It's just that the Nuggets have done an excellent job in the second half, particularly the Clippers series, of gumming up the works, having a lot of guys in the paint, showing a lot of different looks. And when you have one of the quote-unquote bigs has to space, whether it's AD or Markieff Morris or some of the other stuff, it just makes it harder for the Nuggets to achieve that. And so I think it makes life easier on all of their drivers. So yeah, I would probably go that way. Let's see. What current or former coach would either of you want dinner with, to talk basketball with, and why? I would be some of this kind of stems from the book I wrote on the Warriors and like getting into basketball history as somebody who never really watched it growing up. Red Auerbach would be really interesting because not only was he a coach, but he was also so integrally involved in building a true dynasty then. And I've heard a lot of stories, but it would be great to get a lot of that from the horse's mouth in terms of how teams were built then, and really if it was as ridiculous as all the stories that I've heard. So Red would be great, and some of the basketball strategy then, but there are hundreds that I could think of that would be really, really interesting. And I don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of coach history that Nate does. Is Bol playable in the series? I don't think so. I mean, he is such a limited guy right now, and you think about the strength problems and some of the other stuff. I think that it is a real challenge for him in this particular series. Maybe he could get some spot stuff, but remember, the Nuggets' depth is not a problem. They have plenty of good guys. I don't think they need to be super concerned about that. Is JaVale really better than Dwight? I'm not sure. I actually think that Dwight played better than JaVale over the course of the season overall. JaVale's athleticism can be useful, but yeah, I mean, to me, they're both worth tries, and I don't think it's a no-brainer that JaVale is over Dwight. Jokic averaged 39 minutes against the Clippers. How many minutes do you think he'll play against the Lakers, including foul trouble? I think it'll be a little bit less, partially because the Lakers run more, and because the Clippers didn't make him defend as much, like on the floor. They didn't challenge Jokic as much physically. So I think that he might, he has amazing stamina. I think people lose sight of that, or he can just play when he's tired. Whichever way it is, it doesn't really matter. So I'm guessing, maybe more in the 36 range. Also, the Lakers, I think, will be better at getting him into foul trouble, so maybe that pushes it a little bit lower. And depending on when Nate gets back, I might be calling some live action, so that would be fun. So Monte Morris is bringing the ball up, and I think Morris has been a key to Denver's success, especially in the later games of the Clippers series, a level of consistency for their offense, and he's playing alongside Murray Jokic. Oh, great cut there by Torrey Craig, gets behind KCP, who's been a little bit overzealous, and that's leading to some Denver buckets.
I'm back, by the way. Would I miss anything important? An awesome alley-oop by Anthony Davis.
KCP getting back cut for a bucket.
Yeah, so that you're seeing Jokic, him trying to guard Anthony Davis is going to be really interesting here. Now Jokic, they've been very ready to switch here, the Lakers, with the idea that they can double team their way out of it after that experience against Harden. They've done a pretty good job here. Now it's Jokic going over Caruso, and he's hit on the elbow. Good call there, as Caruso had the arms forward.
And these will be the third and fourth free throws for the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers have 4 as well, so that narrows the margin to 0.
So I'd like to see more ball pressure here from Monte Morris. Rajon Rondo, if you pressure up, is not going to just blow right by you for a layup most of the time. That's not what he's looking to do. So a little more pressure on the passer, because he'll just dime you up otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. And Caruso not as reliable an on-ball creator, so I think if they theoretically pressure up on Rondo, it might force Caruso to do more.
Jokic misses that free throw, and Caruso on the rebound. Lakers lead it by 3, and then again, the Nuggets don't know who they have, and they've given up 5 points from not knowing what player they were guarding. And I don't even think there was a sub. Oh, yeah, well, there was a sub for the Nuggets. It was Michael Porter, who was just standing under the rim, and I don't know if that was his man, as now they're going to double-team Jokic. Here's Torrey Craig, and he's hacked, so we'll see if this double-teaming off the switch with Jokic really works that well. I mean, I think I would like to at least try a conventional pick-and-roll defense with Anthony Davis. Like, he should be a pretty good pick-and-roll defender.
I would think so.
Yeah, Jokic has really thrown some fantastic passes early. These are 2 very good passing teams, which helps to make up for some of the limited shooting that they both have.
Yeah, and both teams that know that like well-timed cuts will be rewarded. Jokic, that's been a big staple in Denver's offense at various moments in time, and that was kind of an early post-up by AD on Jokic there.
Yeah, here's Caruso driving in, and he's going to get fouled. That's a transition. Mike Malone must be apoplectic right now.
Well, and not only is it's transition that shouldn't be transition in the first place. Like, and that's, I think, something that you were getting at with ball pressure is there are basic ways with ball pressure, especially against a non-fast point guard, to just slow them down to prevent some of those opportunities. You can't get all of them out of the way because you can create them out of whole cloth, but I think the Nuggets could really benefit from just slowing the Lakers down, and that way they can actually get their shit together.
Yeah, because I mean that's really 3 fast breaks now, and it's going to lead to a total of 7 points, assuming Caruso makes his free throw, which he just did, of just inexcusable transition defense lapses. And now credit Caruso for driving when Jokic, the main help guy, was engaged with Anthony Davis in the post-up. Now here's Jokic on the drive. Jump stop. Oh, he blew right by AD, skinny Jokic. Now, hey, congratulations. The Nuggets didn't know who they had again on that possession. They finally figure it out. Here's AD going to try Jokic. Good help comes from Morris. Porter skying for the rebound.
And a nice job by Jokic there, giving up space but not giving up a restricted area shot.
Here's Murray curling right down the lane, and he lays it in easily. And again, it's all the gravity of Jokic there with Davis not wanting to help out on those handoff plays. Now it's Rondo guarded by Murray, forced away from the screen, into the lane, knocked away. Oh, that went off his foot. I thought it. That's interesting. I thought that
I
hit
think
Rondo's
it went
foot.
off Jokic. I think it went off Jokic's foot. Actually, it's hard to see that.
Yeah, you
At
might
least
be
that's what the
right
ref
there.
said.
So KCP, he's had a nice run here early. Yeah, I mean, as badly as Denver has played, I would actually say both teams have played pretty poorly defensively so far. This hasn't been like crazy shooting by either team to lead to this high-scoring
And a quick
quarter.
note: Lakers Nuggets even in the minutes LeBron sat.
Yeah, and that's with Murray and Jokic both on the floor for that entire time. That's a great point. Now Davis trying Jokic, swings it around. Kuzma, mid-range, curls it in over Porter. Early screen, they're just going to switch this again. Double team comes right underneath again. Jokic is absolutely carving them up. They need a new strategy here, I think. And particularly with Murray out of the game as Kuzma misses the three and AD loses the rebound. Ahead to Morris. Look at Jokic here posting up on Kuzma. This is something, now they're not going to double team. Here it comes late. Jokic too big for Kuzma, and he tips in his own miss. LeBron wanted the goaltend, but he also should have just gotten the rebound. So it's really been the worst of both worlds right now. They've allowed Jokic 9 field goal attempts as Rondo gets blocked by Jokic. They've allowed Jokic 9 field goal attempts, and he's carving them up in this backdoor game as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be interesting. I'll look through the shot chart at the end of the quarter of Denver has a bunch of shots in the restricted area, but they're all on like cuts and drives. They're not in the like quote unquote normal sense. And now we get defensive stalwart Mason Plumlee in for the last minute.
Yeah, so this is no Murray and no Jokic right now. Potentially dangerous minutes for the Nuggets. Where's the offense going to come from? Well, it's going to come from Anthony Davis immediately beating defensive stalwart Mason Plumlee to get wide open underneath the rim. And Morris just did not help sufficiently.
And that's only the fourth foul in the Nuggets, but I believe that was a shooting foul, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yep, the refs believe that as well. So, talking about the Lakers' defensive approach here, particularly when Murray was out of the game, I really don't understand why you're going to switch every pick and roll involving Jokic. And I think they're finding that it is much harder to rotate when you've got the best passing center ever and he's got the ball in the post 10 feet away from the basket and he can find these cutters versus James Harden when you're double teaming him 30 feet away from the basket and you've got plenty of time to recover. So AD, couple of free throws. And Murray actually has returned now for this offensive possession. Porter off of 2 screens on the weak side. AD shuts him down. They get it back into Murray's hands against Rondo. Plumlee setting the screen. Murray attacking Kuzma. Extends, misses. Nice rebound by Davis around over 2 Nuggets, but then he loses it, and he runs over Porter. That's a foul.
And that is a terrible foul because I believe that's going to be free throws for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, just trying to hustle after the ball. But good job by Murray.
Especially when you made
him.
the mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you made the mistake, you want to clean it up and yeah. Yep, and that is free throws for MPJ.
Yeah, that play with someone getting in front of a running AD reminds me of when Chris Paul did that to him and like messed up his knee. It wasn't too severe, but it was also a ridiculous play. So are they going with, is AD out of the game now? Is that his second?
That is only his first, but he is out of the game.
Yeah, so they're going with, I guess, LeBron at center, unless we see him still on the floor. No,
Oh
he's
no, wait,
still
he's
in.
there. I was
Yeah.
wrong. He's there.
Now he's going to try Plumlee one-on-one. I like this matchup for the Lakers. They've got pretty decent spacing around him. He'll step back over Plumlee and hit. Pretty unperturbed there, knowing that he could get to that shot at any time against Plumlee. Now it's Murray finding Grant shaking up out of the corner. Jeremy Grant taking advantage of LeBron James helping on the roll man.
Yeah, and LeBron just pointed to his guy. Not that there was anybody over there to help, but Jeremy Grant gets the wide open three.
Yeah, LeBron hasn't been that involved yet. Remember, he got a lot of those plays off the ball in the Houston series with Rondo setting up. Here's Kuzma flashing across the lane. He beat Craig. That's really just another one of those little face cuts. Actually, I think he technically beat Porter there. They'd kind of zoned up on the weak side, so it was unclear who had the assignment. Now it's Murray. Engages AD. Takes a tough fading three that goes down to end the quarter. Offensive fireworks galore as the Nuggets lead it by 2. Jamal Murray, excellent quarter. He had 9, and Nikola Jokic had 11. And so those guys, if they score 80 points combined today, I think the Nuggets have a pretty good chance.
Well, and this was a 25/24 possession quarter. So that means we have, you can see it on the bottom, offensive ratings at 152 and 150 overall. Extremely low turnover. Also, a lot of offensive rebounds. The Lakers have 3, Denver has 2. Considering they're not missing many shots, that's actually a pretty high offensive rebound rate.
Yeah.
So that's pretty notable. Kuzma, 6 points, made all 3 of his 2-point shots. The Lakers only attempted 4 3-pointers as a team. Denver the same, only 4. And you talked about that. It was like, these aren't high-volume 3-point shooting teams. But to me, this is the stat that underline in bold. The Denver Nuggets have taken 13 shots in the restricted area. The Lakers have taken 11, but 9 of 13 for Denver is on without really anything. You know, they're not centering their offense there. They're just getting all these cuts because Jokic is an unbelievable passer, and they're sending extra attention.
Yeah, and then Anthony Davis with his 14 points playing the entire first quarter. LeBron, pretty quiet, 2 points, 4 assists for him. Rondo had 3 assists in his 6 minutes. And, I mean, we saw this crazy first quarter in terms of offense, as you mentioned. Only 8 combined 3-point attempts, although it helps when you make 5 of them to boost your efficiency, to be sure.
Who is the second best passing center in the NBA today?
All right, who are our candidates here? Bam Adebayo has got to be up there. Al Horford is still pretty good. I'd imagine that hasn't just completely been lost. Who am I not thinking of here right now?
No, because Towns isn't at that. He's a great offensive player, but not a passer of that same
Yeah, I
caliber.
mean, he might be able to get there if that were featured a little bit more, but doesn't really seem like it's going to be. Yeah, there aren't a lot of great passing. I mean, it's probably Sabonis would be up there for me too. He'll get some triple doubles every once in a while. AD has actually improved quite a bit as a passer, but
and Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
But I'd say Bam. Bam's my number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's also best passing versus most effective passing. And Gasol, he's not enough of an offensive threat to really draw the defense and make plays for others. And Bam, the way they run all that handoff game stuff, really is absolutely fantastic. So that would probably be my choice. Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Let's see.
All right, we're back here. So let's table the rest.
We can see the Jokic sizzle reel and remember how many of the best plays that Jokic had were, like how much he shaped the Lakers defense even when the ball wasn't in his hands.
Yeah.
Like every single play he was on the floor, you could see the impact.
Yeah, but he will not be on the floor.
Yeah, these are very important minutes for the Lakers at the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, and I want to see who the Lakers are going to come with here. Is it going to be Dwight, Markieff Morris? It looks like it's going to be Markieff Morris at center here. This is a pretty small group, which I think you can get away with this here with Plumlee out there. They're not really going to post you up or anything. Here's Caruso and pick and roll on the drive, finishes, and I think they're going to get a little push here on Jamal Murray as well.
And this is a much more limited defensive group for Denver. You don't have Paul Millsap out there, I believe. It's MPJ, Monte Morris, Grant, Plumlee. Like Plumlee's not good enough to clean up those messes.
Yeah, particularly because their pick and roll defense is to get way out on the floor, and then there aren't really great rim protectors behind them. Porter was open. Murray didn't look that way and said he'll take the three as the defense goes under. Morris, they did not go back to the switching there. I actually think this group, it makes more sense to switch on. Now here's LeBron going right through Grant and picking up the foul.
I hope he's okay. Nice tiny shit.
Yeah, it looks like he might have sprained his ankle a little bit there. Maybe that's why he went down. Was he might have stepped on someone's foot? I haven't seen it yet, though. Now we will.
Yeah, he did. Jeremy Grant's foot.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's not something that's going to change the series. LeBron generally is pretty indestructible when it comes to these ankle sprains, and he's able to play through them pretty well. Had a bunch of them in the 2015 playoffs, for example. But, yeah, I mean, that one's not great. But he's walking it off a little bit.
But yeah, I think the larger point that we were making about how you can attack this Nuggets group very differently, I think the Lakers need to go at that more aggressively overall. Ooh, really short on that free throw.
Yeah, not even close. Yeah, LeBron still trying to work out the kinks there. Gets the second one. And the Lakers a 2-point lead. Let's keep an eye on how he's moving here. Usually it'll take him a couple of possessions, but he can work these out a little bit. Little drill pitch for Murray. Now it's Morris coming across, finding Plumlee underneath. Camera angle is terrible. Wow, if Plumlee had actually shot a hook shot from that camera angle, that might have been like the worst moment in NBA cast history.
Like Nate Duncan torture bingo.
Well, except they're all being called out at once. Little flex action for Porter, doesn't go anywhere. Now it's Morris looking to drive underneath, and Porter is just stopped. No foul call. 3 on the shot clock, though, and will stay here as the Nuggets will have to manufacture something late in the clock.
And I think that was I can't remember which Laker that was. It might have been Kuzma. It was Kuzma, was kind of ball watching there and got back cut, but just didn't lead to a basket.
Yeah, Porter is a good guy to get it to with his high release. Oh, the fake DHO. Plumlee gives it up. Grant's 3. Oh, I thought Plumlee could have had the layup, and now they're going to get Porter for a loose ball foul.
Yeah, how often do you see a guy pass up a layup with 1 second left on the clock to throw it out for 3? Like, I thought Plumlee had it right there.
Yeah, LeBron hasn't started moving normally quite yet.
No, it's concerning.
LeBron setting the screen for Caruso. They'll just switch this. Now they get it to him on the roll. LeBron goes in for the two-handed dunk. He looked fine on that one, although as he landed, he still was a bit ginger. Easier to jump off of 2 feet than 1 when you've got a sprained ankle. And that was a pathetic miscommunication by the Nuggets where they had him switch, and I think they tried to switch back or something. I don't know what the heck happened here. I mean, Porter, he's just... Yeah, why would Porter try to go back to Caruso in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 largely like-sized guys that are in position to just straight up switch it.
Yeah, I don't recommend double-teaming Alex Caruso and leaving LeBron James open. That's not usually going to lead to a successful defensive possession.
Well, let's talk about a way that people can hopefully find some success for themselves, and that is bookies.com. And you and I have connected with them because it's all about information for them. And so especially if you're over 21 in places like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, where online sports betting is legal, you can go right now. And bookies.com/NBA is such a great resource because they have live updating odds. So whatever you're interested in, you can go to that page, and they also have the best click-through sign-up deals all around. So you can get all of that on one page.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then you also get nice nuggets from them if you follow them on Twitter @bookies as well. So a great place to get all the information you need for legal sports betting on the NBA.
a note from Billy Vogel: Porter versus Kuzma is going to be tough to watch with all the mistakes. Yeah, this will be some growing pains for those two individuals, because these are two teams that are really good at taking advantage of mistakes and maximizing them, and there will be plenty of them to maximize.
Yeah, I think Kuzma to me is much more advanced than Porter in that regard. And even
I would
Porter
agree.
deserves a lot of credit for the strides that he's made so far.
Better matchup against LeBron for the Nuggets between Craig and Grant. For me, it's Jeremy Grant. I thought that Grant he did a better job than anticipated in Kawhi. Not perfect, and he's a little bit bigger, and the length can be a big advantage. Torrey Craig, we'll see if he can hold up, but I think Grant's better.
I agree with you on that one.
Let's see. Does Beverly, Paul George, and Marcus Morris regret laughing hysterically, Dame? No, I mean that's the way basketball is. I mean, there are a ton of different examples of this. I mean, one of them could be everything everything involving the Golden State Warriors in the 2015-16 season and the 2016-17 season. It's just that's the way it is. Everybody, you have fun with things while they last, and if you get your comeuppance, then so be it. You have to have a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Is Vogel done playing Howard? If he doesn't play by, let's say, like game 2 or game 3, then yes. I still think there's a place for him. So one of the questions we got while you were on your while you were out was basically like, is Javale that much better than Dwight? And I said no. I think they should give him a shot.
What player does the most with the least athleticism? Jokic is up there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably got to be Jokic at this point. I mean, he definitely has. He's got like good coordination, certainly. But yeah, in terms of just like running and jumping, yeah, it'd probably have to be him.
Luka's probably in the conversation too. He, again, like Jokic, has athleticism in a different way than the traditional. Like his shifting speeds is really good. But if we're talking the standard, like run, jump, shuttle drill stuff, yeah, neither of those guys is great at those.
Yeah, we're seeing the Lakers layup montage here, and I mean, Stan Van Gundy talked about this on Zach Lowe's pod today. Of just make the Lakers shoot some outside shots. Like the Nuggets aren't even doing that. They're not packing the paint enough. Murray off the screen tries the pass underneath to Morris. That was a no-hoper, and Rondo intercepts. Rondo looking for LeBron on the post-up against Grant. They swing it to Morris as Plumlee had helped on that post-up. So that's all because they did not want LeBron to get that post-up against Grant, and great pass by Rondo again, and no pressure on the ball once more for the Nuggets, letting Rondo get perfect vision. Now Murray kicked by LeBron James, and it'll be a fresh 14 for the Nuggets as Jokic is going to get in.
And you know who else is in? Dwight Howard.
Yeah, so I think that was the thought, is they were going to bring Dwight in, see if he could match up against Jokic. And I would be interested to see if Dwight can guard Jokic one-on-one in the post. And Howard already trying to play some mind games with him just by putting his forearm on him. Murray getting a break, back screen set by Jokic. Now Morris off the screen. They get it to Porter. His first shot misses. LeBron just goes down. No travel. Here's Rondo off the pick and roll. Goes at Jokic. Feels confident against it, but misses it. Howard keeping it alive briefly. Porter on the floor. And he gets it now into the hands of Grant. Morris against Morris. Trying to post up Grant against Caruso. Morris on the drive. And he's just completely crushed by Markieff Morris. Oof. That could have been ugly.
Yeah, that's the second time a Nugget has had a player fall on them pretty dramatically. Remember Jamal Murray and Paul George in the last series. Hope Morris is okay. Markieff's weight fell almost entirely on Monte there.
Yeah, there's another example of that slipping that we're seeing a lot, as there have been complaints about the humid court setup here, and Morris missing the first free throw. Yeah, very interested to see what the Lakers scheme is going to be if Jokic gets it in the post now against Howard. And maybe you would say they shouldn't even try that at all and try to get the pick and pop game going on Howard instead.
Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of Jokic at the 3-point line so far in game 1.
Danny Green has returned, guarded by Gary Harris. There isn't really anyone for Gary Harris to guard in this series that to really like lock down. Here's Caruso on the drive. Has to throw it out to LeBron. That sets up Markieff, eluding Porter. Yes, Markieff, 2 3-pointers. Now, he just could not hit anything in the bubble and really in his time as a Laker, but now he's added that offensive game and he's been pretty decent for them defensively. Pick and roll. Try to get the pocket pass. That goes awry. Here's the alley-oop. Howard going in, and he's fouled by Monte Morris.
And the Lakers can push the lead to double digits here. They built up a little bit of an advantage during the Mason Plumlee minutes. Plumlee was -7 in 3 minutes, by the way. I'm sure we'll talk about that on the pod. And now the Lakers, if Dwight Howard can make at least 1 or 2, double-digit lead.
Yeah, only 1 point so far for Denver. It's a 12-1 quarter, although Dwight Howard, not a great bet to improve on that by much. Rondo sitting down for the Lakers. They're getting AD a nice rest here also. And it'd be interesting to see what they're going to have as the focus of the offense. It's going to be LeBron pick and roll. They're going to try and get him in the post as Howard misses 2 free throws. And Jokic looks to push it up. Jokic handing off to Harris. Gets a hand into him. And now Jokic is stopped by Danny Green and Howard underneath. Now here's Grant wide open, and Howard gets the deflection again. Great defense by Howard. They do give a new 24 there, though, interestingly enough. LeBron can't believe it. Now Jokic going at Howard, and Howard is called for impeding him.
Clean block by Dwight. They just showed the replay. Got it with his left hand, using some of those, not quite as old athleticism, but a nice job by Dwight there.
Yeah, I mean, compared to where he was the last couple of years, Dwight actually has really improved his athleticism. He did get Jokic in the face a little on the follow-through.
True.
Yeah, this is a offensively limited group for the Nuggets without Murray. Harris goes at Dwight Howard. Now the pass from Jokic is intercepted. Danny Green's made a couple of plays. Here's the alley-oop for LeBron, who looks just fine on the ankle that time, pushing it to an 11-point Lakers lead.
And Alex Caruso knows in those circumstances, get the guy to commit, then just throw the ball somewhere LeBron can catch it.
Yeah, Dwight really starting to engage here with Jokic, just body checking him every time. And now Jokic is called for the foul, moving. Yeah, he slid into Alex Caruso, and I thought that Morris went a little early there and got that foul on him. Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I'm Monte Morris in that situation, I'm going to just say, Alex Caruso, you just go in and shoot a layup. I'm just going to not let him throw the alley-oop. Caruso getting the switch for LeBron on Harris. Let's see if a double team comes here. Jokic coming over from the weak side. LeBron squeezing the air out of the ball. Now goes down the lane and scores it easily.
And LeBron is now up to 9 points so far.
Nuggets still, and now they're going to get an offensive foul on Jokic. Again, Howard, he's just been doing this to him. He's just been bodying him, kind of holding him a little bit, and Jokic has lost his cool to some degree.
And Jokic can commit fouls in bunches and can also commit frustration fouls, which can become a big problem for the Nuggets.
Now, to me, that should just be a play on. Like, there's no... To call his third foul on some bullshit like that. Like, why? And now this is one, though, down 13 here, I would think very seriously about leaving him in the game because this could get away from you quite a bit. Murray is back now to give them some offensive thrust. Caruso rejects the screen, and now he's blocked by Harrison. They're already in the bonus.
And also remember that Malone here is going to Plumlee and Millsap together, so that's going to be so much more limited offensively. I would try Millsap at center here.
Yeah, I mean, they basically have never played that way, which, I mean, I agree with you. I wish they had tried something like that a little bit more. But, yeah, as another missed free throw for the Lakers, they've missed some chances to push this lead even further. And we're still on 1 point for the Denver Nuggets here. And Jokic, with those back-to-back offensive fouls, now has 4 turnovers. Another couple of missed free throws by the Lakers. Murray looking to attack, forced away from the screen initially. Now he's got 3 Lakers around him. Can't get the ball out to Grant. And what are we going to get here? A technical foul on Jamal Murray because he felt like he was getting grabbed, I think. And the Nuggets have not had the officiating go their way in these last few minutes. Yeah, you just had a bunch of guys reaching in on Murray constantly, and Scott Foster did not want to hear it. Finally, the Lakers get a free throw to fall. But yeah, down 14 here, Danny. Maybe I wouldn't come back with Jokic immediately. He probably needed a second to clear his head, but another minute or two, I would come back.
Yeah, I mean, if this game gets out of hand, and the Lakers, because their defense is so strong, they could be a very tough team to come back against.
Here's Murray going at Howard, swings it. Harris on the drive. Oh, he's just crushed by Howard. What a block. Dwight Howard was not enjoying sitting on the bench in that series against Houston, apparently. What a rejection. He got that with his forearm.
They should have called a blocking foul there on Markieff Morris. Like, he was moving into Gary Harris on that play. But beautiful block by Dwight. Don't want to minimize that.
Here's Plumlee. He'll go to the spin move, getting Howard in the air, and Howard a little bit too psyched up after those 2 blocks, went for another one, and then Danny Green got knocked down as Plumlee had something to say to him, so things getting a little testy. This will happen sometimes when one team feels like the refs are kind of screwing them over a little bit. You can see it start to get testy with the other team because they can't take it out on the refs. Now LeBron going into Murray, blocking foul, and 1.
Nate, we might want to start doing the bookies ads a little faster. We've been wrong on the Nuggets before, but
I mean, yes. But they sure look bad in game 1s, I would say. But yeah, so that's something they haven't gone to this yet. And yeah, definitely a few things to say here. LeBron with the and 1 call and a little look in the smaller Murray's direction that time.
So it's your call whether we talk where we go to questions or we go to bookies.
No. I think we can do questions.
Yeah. Okay.
We're in good shape here.
There's a lot of talk about the refs in the comments. Let's see.
Yeah. But what is the NBA cast comment zeitgeist about the refs?
Well, I mean, there's an all cap Scott Foster's a demon. That's fun.
I'll take him over some other guys.
Do you think it's a conscious strategy to have Vogel have Javale switch, double, and fail on defense, so we could say, hey, now you have to change these, see if it doesn't work? No, I think he actually thought it was going to succeed. And most coaches don't have that, like, 3D chess, especially when we're talking about an NBA Finals game where if you go down because of a bad strategy, you could lose that game. It's not like the Lakers are playing with house money here. Like, the Nuggets are a really good team. Who starts when Barton comes back for Denver? It's interesting. So I talked about this with Matt Moore when I had him on last week for Real GM Radio because he's very in tune with Denver. And so we were talking about next season, but his theory is that Will Barton will come off the bench. That Barton will be the 6th man, that it'll be Porter and Jeremy Grant, assuming he resigns that or opts in. That will be the forward combination alongside Harris, Murray, and Nikola Jokic, of course.
Yeah, and I think that this playoffs has been really important to see that Jeremy Grant really can play some at the 3, guard opposing threes, and shoot it well enough to make that viable. And also that Jokic, frankly, can shoot the 3 well enough to make that viable. So, yeah, I think that would be it for me as well. And then Will Barton and Monte Morris giving him some ball handling on the second unit. Barton will not be happy about that. He was definitely viewed himself as a starter and wanted to be the starting 3. And he played really, really well this year also. But I think you've got enough on-ball guys in that starting group for Denver, and they want to continue to develop Porter as well. I mean, I think the only way that might change, I mean, Will Barton could just outplay Porter so much, you just don't know whether he's going to come back and Porter, I think Malone always wants to have the cudgel of playing time to use on him to get him to actually defend and be mentally where they need him to be.
Oh, interesting. So, somebody asked, "How are we feeling about this challenge?" That's one of the disadvantages of not having audio. Apparently, this was, according to that person, this was a challenge.
They're not gonna win it.
Yeah,
Now I think
Bontemps,
yeah.
Bontemps called it a very bad challenge.
Yeah, well, this would be a third, I believe, on Murray. I can't tell whether this is pre or
Um,
post challenge.
oh, somebody asked, when is Barton coming back? The answer is we don't know, but I don't think he's back in Orlando. He's in Miami working out, so that would mean, given even the minimum quarantine time, it'd be hard for him unless he came back like right away to play in this series.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see here. We're back. I mean, LeBron lowers the shoulder. I always felt lowering the shoulder is like a little bit of a trope because again, it's pretty much impossible to like actually go fast without lowering your shoulder a little bit.
Well, so the Nuggets lost the challenge. Mike Malone loses a timeout. Mike Malone will call all of his timeouts.
Well, and I think they also he part of why he's doing that I think is to just express frustration with the
To defend his
refereeing.
players. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they obviously need. I mean, this is a 19-3 quarter right now, pending this LeBron free throw. And we said LeBron was quiet in the first. That has not been the case here in this quarter. And he's getting. I mean, they haven't even made him think about having to shoot a jump shot yet.
Right, and there are also a lot of feedback loops here. The Lakers are getting stops so they can get more in transition. Their transition offense has been devastating.
Yeah, so this has been the same pattern that we often see from the Nuggets in these series, it seems like. Here's Murray, left alone for a second. That's an awkward shot, but he'll make anything when he's open these days. Stanching the bleeding for Denver momentarily. Want to get LeBron into the post against Grant. I'm interested to see how this goes if they don't double team here. LeBron goes for the jumper. He's feeling it. I thought he could have tried a little harder there to attack. Now Murray, semi-transition, gets the drag screen from Plumlee. Swings it, and Markieff Morris all over that one. He's guarding Gary Harris in the corner. Now they swing it. Danny Green over Millsap. A little short. Rebounded by Howard, but it goes to Murray. Nice left-handed pass. Look at that. The distance on that lefty pass from Murray, but Harris couldn't cash in. And then Plumlee with maybe the dumbest foul. Oh, actually, well,
That's a hacka. That's hacka.
Maybe it is, Danny. Maybe that's what they're actually going to do here. Now, would you want more possessions with Nikola Jokic out of the game? And particularly here with LeBron being out now, I might go to that strategy here. I mean, you can't do it in the last 2 minutes. But there's something to think about. He did just miss 2. I'm just not sure that this is the time with LeBron out of the game from now on.
Yeah, I mean, to stop a fast break, it's a little bit different because then you expect a higher EV there. And yeah, now AD long rest for him.
Yeah, over 6 minutes for Anthony Davis with Morris and Caruso sitting down. They're going to bring Rondo back, presumably, to run the point with LeBron out of the game. Yeah, and I really credit Dwight a lot he was really on a make good deal with the Lakers. He hits 2 free throws there, and so we'll see whether the hack continues or not. It's hard to tell with Mason Plumlee. He might have just fouled him because he fouls a lot. We'll see whether that becomes a big strategy or not. Murray, one-on-one against Green, cut off nicely twice. Goes to the tough fader. Man, that is a really, really difficult shot. Couple of tough twos for Murray. Here's Green on the inside-out dribble, going to the hook shot off the glass, and that's not the shot that Frank Vogel wants. Now it's Millsap attacking on Howard. He's going to get rejected here, right? No, he has to throw it up to avoid the block. It wasn't close. Now Rondo is looking for both Davis and Howard, who both ran to the rim, and they still are going to get fouled and go to the foul line. Yeah, Millsap is saying Howard shoved me into AD on that floater. If only Malone had a challenge remaining.
But alas.
So right
And
now,
so,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. No, you go.
Uh, the Lakers getting a lot done at the foul line. They're 10 of 16 in the paint, 6 of 10 on twos outside. I'm sorry, 10 to 16 in the restricted area, 6 to 10 on twos outside the restricted area, and they've only had to attempt 7 3-pointers, and they've made 4 of them.
Do
So,
you want to guess how many fouls Denver has committed? This doesn't include the tech. How many fouls they've committed in this quarter?
oh man, I'm gonna say like 8.
10.
Oof. I mean, and most of them have been pretty obvious, I would say.
Yeah, there are a couple that might have been a little bit dicey, but overall, I would say the officiating hasn't been terrible. It's been maybe on the fringe, but no, I mean, I think that Denver can be a foul happy team. Like I think the ones on Jokic were probably the worst calls.
Yeah, so Howard gets called for a foul just impeding Millsap's progress. Again, that's the same thing he was doing against Jokic. Then Jokic got called for a foul. Here's Murray. Gets Green in the air, and he'll go to the line. Jamal Murray basically just manufacturing tough twos is about all the Nuggets have offensively right now. But hey, he's made 2 of them, and now he's going to shoot free throws.
And that's Danny Green's third foul. So Green has 3, Jokic has 3, and then players with 2: JaVale, Dwight Howard, Markieff Morris, Paul Millsap, Jamal Murray, and Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, and Denver, a lot of these have been just dead ball offensive fouls, but they've turned it over on 21% of their possessions right now, which has been a major problem for their offense. Yeah, and I really think that what Dwight has been doing, coming in and like trying to be an irritant, I think that's something that referees need to be aware of just like, all right, a guy's just trying to run down the court and you're just going to stand in front of him and like body him up. Like, that's not basketball. I mean, players have been doing that since the beginning of time, obviously. You know, Dennis Rodman was always a master at that as Davis tries to go through the arm of Grant and cannot. Great job by Grant pulling the arm away. Here's Murray. Back out Millsap. Good late switch here by Rondo. Millsap going through Rondo. Yeah, and see that play, Danny? That's the kind of Rajon Rondo weak defensive effort that we've been used to, where he just does not want to play physically at all. And now I think we're going to get Dwight trying to post up on Murray, and that could be Murray's third foul.
Yeah, that is Jamal Murray's third foul. So, I mean, to me, this is even more motivation for Malone to bring Jokic back in.
Yeah, I think particularly now that they've made it this long, they haven't really expanded the lead at all. Yeah, I mean, and now the refs are just like gonna call everything. And
Yeah, and to me, you can just make that a play on. There was nothing involved in the action there. Ball was 20 feet behind, 30 feet behind.
yeah, and I highly object as they're gonna give up the offensive rebound here, and Denver recovers. Great strip by Monte Morris off the offensive glass, but with both, you're going to put Murray and Jokic both out of the game. Like, Murray is not like a high foul player. So let's see what happens here over these next 4 minutes. LeBron, when he comes back in the game, they could be in trouble. Here's Millsap blowing by Howard. That sets up Porter wide open, and Porter has missed a couple of good looks. Rondo looking to push it. Now gets the screen from Howard. A second screen from Davis. Rondo looking to take the mid-ranger. I think part of why he took it was he saw Dwight Howard under there, and Dwight Howard has drawn yet another foul with his offensive rebounding.
And Nate, this is Paul Millsap at center. It's Millsap, Porter, and Grant as the front court for the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, and it looked like to me like Millsap was holding Dwight Howard's his right arm.
Yep. Former teammates, Danny, in Atlanta for a year.
I don't think either of them wants to remember that year too closely. when Dwight Howard had been traded for a Plumlee. Not this Plumlee, different Plumlee. That was Miles.
Yeah, now Plumlee is going to come in. He'll replace Millsap.
And my fun is over now.
Is that 3 fouls on Millsap too? It's just everybody. It's 3 fouls on everyone on Denver at this point.
Yep, 3 fouls on everyone but Porter, basically. Actually, and Plumlee, he'll get his soon enough.
So it would seem. But I mean, credit to Dwight Howard. He's really come in and changed this game. He's uglied it up, which is going to help the Lakers. He's had a couple of big blocks. He's getting to the foul line. He's out toughing the Nuggets right now. Here's Morris. Oh, nice tip attempt by Plumlee, but neither of those worked. Now Rondo pushing it down their throats again. Howard going in, left hand blows it. AD. And now another foul.
Oh, I didn't see much contact there.
I think Porter got him on the arm. Surprising to me that Howard missed that so badly. Yeah, that's not a lot of contact, I gotta say. But I mean, how many free throws is this for the Lakers now?
In the game, I believe these are 26 and 27.
Holy crap!
Let me see if I can get the game book. Okay, so they had 8 in the first, so we're up to I believe 19 free throws in this quarter for the Lakers.
Yeah, they're getting some Game 6 of 2002 vibes here right now. Oh, and I think this. Oh no, it's going to be knocked out by Markieff. But I mean, the Lakers are out toughing them. Like, they're getting fouled because they're doing more on the offensive glass. But there have been quite a few questionable calls that have gone, or just like calls. It's like that just don't need to be called against the Nuggets. Here's Harris as they go under on him. Nuggets not hitting some of these open threes, which has hurt their cause here in the second.
And this last 3 minutes is going to be crucial for Denver, because if they're going to commit to having no Murray and no Jokic with LeBron and AD out there, this margin could get to 20.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where, like, you're kind of giving up as a coach, right? Like, well, refs are screwing us over, can't do anything. No, play these guys. So they don't want to switch Porter onto LeBron. Let's watch this here. Here's AD with the spot up 3. That misses. There you got Markieff Morris in now again as the other big. Plumlee looking for Morris on the back door. Nice finish by Monte Morris. Lakers had that diagnosed pretty well, but Morris just made him pay. Now here's Kuzma. He does not get the foul call, but he makes the layup.
And Kuzma's been drilling his 2-pointers. I think he's like 4 of 4 or 4 or 5 on 2s.
Yeah, I like the way that Kuzma's been scoring. Just quick touch times as well. That was terrible defense by the Lakers here.
Yeah, and that was AD not coming over to help, and Rondo seeing somebody dribbling towards the basket and be like, meh, I'll just go back to the corner instead.
Yeah.
Not a business decision, just a bad decision.
Yeah, but that's
good on the Nuggets.
That's all Anthony Davis. Like,
yes.
Danny Green is in an ice coverage there. I don't know why Davis feels like he has to stick to Mason Plumlee at the foul line on that play.
Yeah, and important for the Nuggets. I thought that they were getting at a real disadvantage. They got a couple of scores here, and so right now it's 12. It could end up getting higher, but if they can keep it more in this like 12 to 15 range, then I think it's more doable depending on where the game goes from here.
So the Lakers are 21 of 40 from the field, and the Nuggets are 20 out of 39. Oh, it must be a pretty close game, right? I mean, honestly, although the Lakers have actually only made 9 more foul shots than the Nuggets have.
So many.
Yeah, they're shooting 70%.
And it's not just Dwight. I mean, Caruso missed 2. Davis has missed a couple, but yeah, I mean, Dwight has also missed 3. Let's get to some questions.
Indeed. What do you think Monte Morris is worth? That's a good question.
I think of him as like a mid-level exception player. Like Morris, I don't think that he creates offense reliably enough to be a starter. And to me, it's really hard for a non-starter. Yeah, if he needs to be a spot guy, if there's an injury, sure. To make more than the mid-level. So, yeah, maybe like I'm thinking of him more the taxpayer Memoli rather than the non-taxpayer. But that's still good money for a guy who was, who was basically who was on a 2-way to start his career.
Yeah, $5-6 million a year or something like that would be my thought. All right, we're back here. They get it to AD against Plumlee. Going to run KCP off a couple of screens. Now they want to get AD in the post. Now it's Morris cutting through instead. They swing it. KCP with the tough jumper. I don't know why he didn't just drive to the basket on that. He had no one in front of him. Plumlee looking for Porter. And again, they just have no idea who they're guarding. I mean, this has been bad Lakers defense again here. LeBron throwing it ahead, AD, and he's fouled.
Yeah, and that's the contest a shot and move out there, and then LeBron James finding him because LeBron James is unbelievable at those passes.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lakers, they're just like, they've made some really bad communication errors on these
Well,
last
and
couple
and
possessions.
remember, we've talked about how the Nuggets have really struggled in game ones. The Lakers have lost both of their game ones as well, and they kind of figure things out as things move along. I think their defense tonight has been pretty bad, honestly, overall.
Yeah, when Howard was in, I thought it was pretty good. As AD missing the free throw here, he's had some odd struggles at the line at times in these playoffs. So Denver remaining somewhat in contact here. You wonder what they could have done during this period if they'd had Jokic and Murray in there as well, right? I mean, just to not get killed during this time is nice, but you're still down by 13. Let's see what happens here in the last minute 21. Morris finding Porter, and now it's Grant trying Kuzma on the baseline, and I think they're going to get a little push on Kuzma. And Denver is also in the bonus, by the way. Yeah, Kuzma got the arm on Grant as he tried to drive baseline. So the referees exercise their lungs again, and some free throws for Jeremy Grant.
And Grant has an important player option decision. But I think it's a little bit over $9 million for next year. I think he should and will opt out. That makes him an unrestricted free agent. Part of why I think Denver traded for him is that even if that happens, they'll have sufficient bird rights to retain him. But Grant faces an interesting decision because he could also become an unrestricted free agent in 21 when there will be a lot more money out there.
I mean, the other reason to opt out now is they just gave up a first rounder to get you, and they have a history of overpaying their own guys. LeBron, he splits the pick and roll, passes behind KCP, tough catch though, and Nuggets on the rebound. They'll get a chance for the 2-for-1 here, trailing by 11. Morris going at AD along the baseline, sets up Harris, who also is just open for no reason at all. KCP just totally fall asleep. I guess it was the cut of Porter that opened it up, and now the Lakers come right back to try to get the 2-for-1 on yet another foul.
And yeah, the Lakers defense, it hasn't been crisp overall. I think Grant came in and Kuzma just followed him, so that left Harris wide open for the corner three. And this is a single-digit game.
Yeah, finally the Nuggets hitting one of these open threes. And the Lakers have given them plenty of chances. Without Howard on the floor, their defense has not been good. I would be very interested to start Howard in the second half if I were Vogel. He's not going to do that, obviously, but I would think about that. I thought, Howard continued to bother Jokic. He got him frustrated. See if you can get that fourth foul just in the scrum under the boards. Now Davis beats Plumlee along the baseline, but yeah, it's going to stay right here. Wow. Plumlee just got beaten terribly on that. Failed to box out.
The Lakers are going to try to get a 3-for-1 here, basically.
LeBron on the inbound trying to get that screen for AD under the rim. That's the same play that they ran earlier against Plumlee. And now what are they going to say here?
They originally called it a kick, but they might turn this the other way. Just depending on who they think the ball hit.
They said Grant hit it. Now they're talking it over. It definitely did hit AD's foot at some point. Yeah, this hits Davis. A rare poor pass from LeBron, and this should be Denver ball. Grant never touched it. A lot of drama here as they try to figure it out. And yeah, we are finally, justice is served. So Denver now with the 2-for-1 chance. Caruso trying to pressure up and make that more difficult. Now he backs off. Drag screen for Morris. And LeBron reaches in with a bad foul off of Michael Porter. And it'll be more free throws for Denver. This is one of the worst quarters of basketball we've seen in these playoffs.
Well, and also that, we criticize guys for trying this against LeBron and various other guys all the time. It's like LeBron was not going to get a strip there. It seems extremely unlikely, and instead, because Denver's in the bonus, that's 2 free throws. And I don't think the Lakers have enough time to push to get their own 2 for 1.
Yeah, and that there have been a ton of fouls and a ton of missed free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's the third quarter that gets this crazy number of whistles. And maybe
Who
part,
knows?
yeah.
Maybe that will too.
So 8 point Laker lead, about a 7 second or so differential, call it 8 seconds. They want to get Monte Morris involved in the screening action here on LeBron. They don't switch it, no advantage gained. LeBron going to the right hand, goes through Grant, blocking foul. And LeBron made that layup too. So the Nuggets really, I thought again, he's pretty close to in front of him on that one. The Nuggets just have not gotten these calls. I mean, that is a really hard play to referee. Is he really in LeBron's path? Like it, that is extremely close. What do you think?
In my, I think I don't think it's a charge. So I don't know, but I don't think so. I guess it's a block then because you can't make that a no call. I think there's too much contact.
Yeah.
I mean, could you?
Yeah, people say, what's Grant supposed to do? Well, he didn't really get into his path on that play. It's pretty close,
It was
but LeBron isn't going directly at the rim. He let him get the shoulder by him just a little bit. Here's Porter with a deep three. That misses. Another pretty decent look for the Nuggets, but ugly second quarter basketball after was a beautiful first half, although there were some defensive mistakes. And we'll see what happens in the second. We'll take a little break, and we'll come back just before this third quarter. All right, we are back to the NBA cast sponsored by bookies.com. And they would like you to know that the halftime line has the Lakers favored by 11.5 points to win the game and minus 910 on the money line. Nuggets are plus 600 on the money line. And the new over under is 232. Make sure you bookmark bookies.com/NBA for our daily NBA expert picks and all the best legal sports betting odds and deals. So yeah, this was quite a record number of free throws that we just witnessed in that scintillating second quarter.
Yeah, Jared Weiss had the half stats, which were from Sport Radar, that the 32 first half free throws were the third most ever in playoff history, the most in a conference finals or a finals, and that was 25 free throws in the second quarter. I do not know if that is a record.
One would imagine that it's pretty darn close at this point, but I think the Lakers have already had a quarter like or a half like this in the playoffs on August 22nd against the Portland Trailblazers, and there are a lot of guys who draw a lot of fouls. LeBron, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, those were the three guys who got the most of them. They get out in transition where you're likely to get fouled pretty often as well. And Seth tweeted this out. I think 6 was the final number. It might have even been more, but this is the most non-shooting fouls ever in the bonus this season was 6, and I believe the Lakers tied that. They might have even gotten a 7th one at the end. So this is relatively unprecedented fouling that we are seeing, and certainly the Lakers put a lot of pressure on teams. They are one of the highest free throw teams, and the Nuggets are not a low foul team, but this has been the result a little bit of some inconsistent refereeing.
And aggressive officiating, to be sure. And I think that it is unfortunate because it also obscured from what was a somewhat compelling, well, a great first quarter, very exciting first quarter, and some interesting stuff in the first half. I thought the Lakers' defense overall was pretty bad. I thought they had a lot of real lapses in coverage, which led to Denver getting open looks. They were getting a lot around the basket early. Denver 14 of 19 in the restricted area in total in the first half, but did a lot of that damage in the first quarter. Denver's not hitting their jump shots, though more of them have been open. They are 4 of 13 on threes, but then 1 of 3 on mid-rangers. The Lakers have 20 restricted area shots to go along with their 32 free throws. So they've done a lot there, and the Lakers haven't had to hit a ton of threes to have an efficient offense. They have a 134.6 offensive rating, despite only attempting 9 three-pointers in the half.
Yeah, and you would say the Lakers or the Nuggets need to pack the paint more. I totally agree. But they also need to stop fouling once they're down there, and they got to stop giving up obvious fast break attempts as well. And remember that first quarter, and we'll see it again here in the third, where they were doing a lot of switching. They're double teaming Jokic in the post. He was carving them up, and we'll see whether Mike Malone's gamble to not play Jokic and Murray ends up paying off when they finally get into the third quarter here.
See, we can probably have time for a few questions. We don't know exactly when they're coming back. I missed from Zorkbid. I missed the entire first half. What did I miss? A lot of fouls. I mean, that's the biggest thing you missed, and a pretty damn fun first quarter. I enjoyed, going back up and down, really high offensive ratings, pretty low. Well, 25 possessions there. Let's see. Oh, this is can you explain why players and coaches get fined when they complain publicly against officiating? Yeah, it's bad for the league is the way to think about it. You're trying to disincentivize the conduct. That's really what it's about. And everybody knows the game. Those fines go to charity and everything else like that. So that's the idea, is that it's a bad look for the league. You want to disincentivize it, but it doesn't cost them games or really suspensions or anything like that. It just costs them money, which goes to charity.
Yeah, it certainly there is not in the league's interest to have its results be deemed unfair. That's basically what you're saying when you're questioning the referees. And so, of course, their entire business model is based on everything being perceived as fair. All right, we're back here. And it is Dwight Howard starting the second half. Wow, Danny. And here's AD off a screen to get going immediately. Harris with a nice rebound. I credit Frank Vogel, man. This is the right move. I didn't think he would do it. Here's Harris off the screen into the mid-range. No advantage gain there. Grant trying LeBron on the baseline. Somehow cut off. Goes to a tough fadeaway. Not a good shot. Great defense by LeBron. I thought he was beaten. Now he's attacking in transition. Back out. Green. AD. LeBron was trying to post. Oh, no. It was Howard trying to post up. And let's see. Yeah, Jokic kind of grabbed it. And that was a great move. It's exactly what Frank Vogel wanted, was just Dwight Howard getting physical on just getting into Jokic's body. Jokic, wrap the arm around him, clear foul, dumb foul, and the idea to play him worked out. And now Jokic tries to draw the foul, does not. He gets knocked down, and his man Howard goes for the thunderous alley-oop. And you could tell Jokic knew what play was being run, and he was like, I'm going to just go stand in Anthony Davis's way and fall down and see if they'll give me the call right back, which sometimes that actually works, but they just gave up 2 points instead. Murray attacking Howard. Good mobility by him. Green's switching on to Jokic. A little different strategy in the pick and pop. Oh, what a Euro step by Jokic. Jokic might be the best right-hand, right-foot finisher in the league, especially when you consider that Sombor shuffle fadeaway jumper. Trying to post up Davis against the slightly skinnier Grant. Late clock, Davis in isolation. This is when they come with the double. Good defense here by the Nuggets. And, man, Jokic and Howard are engaged again in the rebounding action. Jokic gets it against Howard up top. They want to get Murray coming off the screen. KCP on his back. Swing it to Grant. His three. Good late close there by Danny Green. And, Scott Foster tried really hard not to call Jokic for his fifth on that one because they really got tied up pretty well. I like the no call, though.
I do, too.
Getting it back to LeBron against Murray. 11-point game. Grant is over in the strong side zone. LeBron tries to draw the foul. Instead, he swings it. KCP stepping in, and he hits.
And that was an in-rhythm jumper for KCP. He had more balance on the two than he would have had on the three because of the closeout.
Open side pick and roll here with Murray. And you see KCP is coming over from the weak side to take Jokic on that pick and pop if needed. Now trying to post up Jokic. They late switch him out of there, though. Now it's LeBron on Jokic. Late clock. They've done nothing on this possession. And now Murray.
You know what happened off ball there? KCP pointed Dwight Howard to go guard Jamal Murray.
Yeah, and that was ludicrous. And that was terrible defense by Howard, too, with 1.5 on the clock. Like, make him drive inside the arc at least. And Murray he's been awesome when he's actually been able to be on the floor. Here's LeBron swinging it to Davis. Not a lot of spacing here for the Lakers. And Davis on the drive. He blew right past Millsap. Anthony Davis likes to go left. He's beaten Millsap now, I think, for 3 buckets going to his left off a closeout. Again, you see how Howard is just making it difficult for Jokic to even move around the floor. He's always got his hands on him. So Jokic just wants to go set the screen. He can't get into the position that he wants to be in. Harris almost falls down. Here's the drive by Harris. Stripped off his leg. Great defense again by the LA Lakers.
And in a lot of ways, that functions as, it's not even a ball denial, it's an offensive impact denial for Jokic on a lot of that possession. And so that makes Gary Harris and some of these other guys have to beat you.
Now it's Davis one-on-one against Millsap. Is he going to try and go left again? No, good help from Grant off of LeBron, who is not in shooting position. So I thought, but he thought he was in shooting position. A little short, though. Yeah, this off-ball battle between Jokic and Howard is fascinating. Here's Murray setting up Grant as LeBron did not guard him. Grant missing the three. Nuggets have had some chances. Here's LeBron going at Harris. Harris tries to commit the foul.
Here's the funniest thing. Jokic put his hand out to try to commit the Euro foul. If LeBron emulated Chris Paul, he would have flopped and gotten the call there.
Yeah, I mean, that was another very risky play for Jokic, potentially getting him his fifth. Get it into LeBron. Screening action on the weak side. Jokic is going to need to come over and help here, presumably. Good defense by Grant. He held up well. Now LeBron going back at him again. Goes to the baseline. Jokic coming over. Danny Green misses that one. Danny Green will shoot that where he doesn't really replace. He's kind of off balance, but he'll shoot that three anyway. Now LeBron has Davis open. Pull up over Millsap. Teams have not been able to hit the jump shot here. Denver doing a better job of packing the paint here in this quarter. Here's Millsap against KCP. Out to Murray. Bad double team there. Bad double team there. LeBron can't believe that Danny Green just left Jamal Murray on that play, especially with Anthony Davis just standing right there to take care of that post up. Here's Davis. Jokic on the help. Davis with the tough hook shot over him. Howard going up strong through his old Atlanta teammate Paul Millsap. Bounce back game for Dwight Howard, who did not see the floor in that Houston series after game 1. And now Grant lost it out of bounds after Murray mishandled.
Yeah, and that is now 10 listed turnovers for the Nuggets compared with 4 for the Lakers.
Yeah, and Slater had this stat. And this may be, Danny, the greatest three-point shooting playoffs we've ever seen. Jamal Murray is 56 of 112 from 3 in these playoffs.
Incredible. And these are a lot of difficult attempts.
I mean, he's not shooting quite, Steph Curry volume, but he's been at 8 attempts a game. I mean, and particularly in that Utah series was one of the greatest shooting exhibitions I've ever seen in my life.
Let's get to some questions. Will Murray and Jokic play the entire second because they've rested so much? I think they'll probably get short rests each if they can stay out of foul trouble, and Jokic is already in foul trouble, so that's going to be a problem.
Have you guys discussed this officiating? It's come up.
What areas does Anthony Davis need to improve the most? I mean, he's a pretty. I don't think he's ever going to get good enough on ball as a passer and as a dribbler to be that lead guy. So I think he has a pretty good complementary offensive player skill set. The jump shot's coming along well, and then defensively, I mean, I think maybe you could argue more consistent effort and just more. I mean, I don't think of any. There's not a big piece for him that I think is missing. Can you think of anything?
I mean, a little bit more skill level in the post. And I think actually working on the ball, he has this nascent pick and roll game, which people have talked about. The stats on it are very, very good when he's actually the ball handler and gets a smaller guy to set a screen for him. So I wouldn't actually mind seeing a little bit more of that type of stuff where he's the ball handler and you have a small come and screen for him. And that could actually be pretty difficult to handle for some teams, particularly when Davis is being guarded by a bigger center. That could be a way to really get him going.
Who is more dependent on the other, Jokic or Murray? Murray. I mean, Jokic could be unbelievable with a lot of different supporting talent, and Murray, he's getting better, but he's not a true, ball dominant pick and roll maestro. And so playing with Jokic makes his life easier and make anybody else's life easier. But I think Jokic would thrive with more different teammates than Murray would offensively.
Why hasn't Jokic attempted any threes? A lot of it has been the Lakers scheme where they've been switching a lot on some of those pick and rolls and handoffs, and also because he's been working just fine inside the arc. If you're going to double team him inside the arc and he can dime guys up like he was in that first quarter, why go away from that?
Yeah, especially when it shortens the passes, so you don't have to. That's harder for the Lakers to react, and they're creating good looks around the basket. The reason that you go further out with Jokic is that you open up more space on the floor, but they haven't needed more space on the floor. They've been getting plenty of good looks when he's been out there. How can the Lakers improve this offseason? In terms of personnel, it's going to be pretty difficult. They have a very locked-in roster, sort of paralleling the Clippers, because when you add a lot of guys in 1 year and you're over the cap, it's difficult. And we are just about back. So, yeah, it'll be finding value for the mid-level exception, trying to get guys on the minimum, and they should be able to get guys on the minimum because the Lakers are a championship contender next year, assuming they're healthy.
How are you feeling about how well each team is playing right now?
I think the Lakers' defense has been incredibly shaky. I think that the KYP stuff has been a big problem for them. And for Denver, I mean, other than the foul trouble, I think that their offense has flowed pretty well. And defensively, I think they've done a pretty solid job executing.
Yeah, they haven't had a great matchup for Murray yet, it seems. So here's LeBron. They go under on him. And they're going to get Dwight with the moving screen. Yeah, good call.
And notably, Malone keeping Jokic still on the floor after his fourth.
Harris, little dribble pitch with Murray, and now Harris is called for the offensive foul. And that one was a little dicier to me.
I didn't get a good look at it.
Howard's going to screen for LeBron again. They want to get 2 on the ball here. LeBron backing into Grant into the lane, still bullying him down, sets up Davis for a 3-pointer. Yes. I have absolutely no idea how that happened because they were showing us the floor cam, but a shot went in. Here's Harris on the baseline drive. Howard with a nice challenge, forced the high arcing shot, but Harris converted nonetheless.
And that's a shot for him to end the second and another shot early in the third.
LeBron in pick and roll again. They're still trying to go at Jokic. LeBron shoves off Grant and loses it. Now Davis going to his left again. Nice pass there to Danny Green. And Danny Green just missed the wide open shot. Here's LeBron getting past Murray. Underneath Howard for the easy lay-in.
And also a good job there by Howard of knowing that he's going against a guy with 4 fouls and just kind of moving to his spot and assuming Jokic wasn't going to get in his way.
Murray, Jokic, pick and roll again. Murray engaging, now sends it out to Millsap. They help off of him. AD went down. Hopefully he's okay. Now it's Millsap back door, and he blew the layup. Green had a little bit of help. Yeah, AD is went down. Another slip there, but a 3 from KCP in transition, and that's pretty inexcusable because Davis didn't even run down. And Mike Malone now is going to have to get a timeout. Michael Malone, I should say, with a 17-point disadvantage.
And that has been the biggest problem that the Denver Nuggets have had in this game was transition and semi-transition as just not knowing who they were guarding.
And that's not even like some impossible fast break situation right there. That's just not knowing. But again, it's the hard run. It was Howard down the middle, occupied some defenders, and that's what leaves KCP open. Let's have a little chat here about our friends at bookies.com, Danny.
Absolutely. So bookies.com has great resources, whether you are into betting spreads, money lines, totals, or parlays. And the great thing is you just go to one URL, go to bookies.com/NBA, and they have that live updating odds page, which is a wonderful resource. And then they also have expert picks. We've talked about that earlier. I think people could hear me back then. Mark Stratman picked the Lakers over the Nuggets. They were 7-point favorites. He picked the under, and Adam Thompson, who's on fire, 67%, picked the over. So a lot of great resources. And they also try to they support us, which is a great thing to do. And you can also follow them at Bookies on Twitter.
Yeah, and some of their really good click-through deals with PointsBet. You can deposit $250 and get $250 in free bets using the promo code BookiesNJ. BetMGM, you can deposit $500 and get $500 in free bets. And Unibet, deposit $600, you get a $600 risk-free bet plus $30 in free bets.
Awesome. Somebody asked how we get the stats we use. That is rthoops.net. It is a wonderful resource that we both love.
Yeah, our buddy Min Huang came up with that one. So this is danger time here for the Nuggets. Now, you imagine Murray and Jokic are going to play most of this second half as long as it's close. But really, they have not had the offensive flow, and they've been doing a lot of pick and roll. They haven't really tried to post up Jokic at all. I thought their best offense really came out of that. And what the Lakers are doing now as well is they're not necessarily trying to switch unless they have to. And if the Jokic does pick and pop, they're now bringing a third man over from the weak side. And because Denver likes to try to run a lot of pick and rolls on the open side, you can bring that third man over, and there isn't really the spacing to take advantage of the fact that it's now a 3-on-2 on the weak side when that third guy on the defense comes over to take Jokic on the pop.
A question from Iguana Superbike. Is there any free agent this offseason that could make the Mavs contenders next year given their cap situation? I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody that gets in there. There are a lot of players that I think make them better moving forward. I've brought up Derrick Jones Jr. as a possibility there because he is a talented wing defender who can also be a role man within their system. But really for me, Dallas, the player that they need that's going to put them over, that's going to come in 2021 rather than 2020.
Do you think a team like the Hornets or Pistons might target Will Barton in a trade with the cap space they have?
I mean, they could, but I don't think Denver needs to particularly move him, especially if Paul Millsap's value isn't as high. I don't think the Nuggets are looking to clear money, and Will Barton makes them better. I don't think they want to lose the pressure that they have to make sure that the MPJ plays well.
Yeah, that's not the kind of trade you make when you view yourself as a contender, and I think they could really use that playmaking on the second unit that Barton could potentially provide. Yeah, again, Howard is just right on Jokic. Even when he's full court, he just comes right back in. He's just keeping a body on him at all times. Here's Grant at the elbow, trying to get Jokic coming out of the corner off a screen. Jokic gets a good look at the foul line and hits it. That's his first jump shot, I believe, of the game. And that's a play that Michael Malone usually likes to go to out of timeouts with a guard screening for Jokic out of the corner to get to the elbow. Rondo is in. LeBron is out. Tough pass there. Late clock. They've done nothing so far on this possession. Rondo, another tough pass. AD's going to have to just jack this up. Late clock. What an awful possession. And I don't believe that hit the rim. It's a shot clock violation.
No, it's a shot clock violation.
Yeah, Jokic so far, again. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, this is a 16-12 third quarter in favor of the Lakers, but very low offense for the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, and Jokic again with Howard. I mean, it's physical down there. Those guys are engaged on every possession. That's where fouls can take place, just by that physical contact that Howard is providing. Here's the handoff. Murray turns the corner. They switch Howard onto him. Now they want to post Jokic. Here comes the straight double. Rondo doing a good job coming over on Murray. Porter with a good pass to the corner. That's really good offense. And the Nuggets lose it out of bounds. Nonetheless, Harris had a really good look there.
Yeah, the Lakers ran a version of a scram there, but they never really scrambled and recovered. But Porter Jr. made the read to exploit that, just didn't go.
Yeah, I mean, that was good offense by the Nuggets for sure.
I agree.
Rondo going for the oop to Howard. Oh, what a big dunk that is. Dwight Howard with the backdoor cut. That was all set up here as Jokic got hit on the back screen by KCP. Now it's Murray going to his mid-ranger. Spins out. Davis way down floor. KCP going in for the jam. He said he was fouled. Did not get the call. Now the Nuggets get it ahead. Jokic looking to post Porter underneath on KCP. Didn't look that way. Looping pass. Jokic tells Porter to get out of there so he can drive. To Green with a bad gamble. But Davis with the block on Grant, and it's going to be Lakers ball. What a play.
Yeah, I would think that hit off of Michael Porter Jr. on its way out.
Again, Danny, no pressure on the passer, Rajon Rondo. And you might as well pressure him, right? I mean, he's like, oh, he can't shoot. You just back off. But, like, what else is the defender doing on that play? Why not just pressure him?
Quick interjection. I think KCP is right. There should have been a foul there. It was foot-to-foot contact by Michael Porter Jr., but that can be really dangerous when a guy's in the air.
Big time. Here's Davis one-on-one against Jokic. We haven't seen this matchup hardly at all. Rondo open underneath, but he's closed down by Craig and then deflected by Craig. Davis will have to create.
They ended up getting a look, but look what ball pressure on Rondo did. He couldn't get the pass in there. They had AD on Michael Porter Jr., but couldn't get anything from it because of the ball pressure on the pass.
AD with a really difficult shot. Nonetheless, this is a 21-point game. Jokic faking, and he gets the layup and one as Howard is called for the foul. About time, say the Nuggets fans.
And remember, AD had a lot of points early. His current line, 24 points, 7-16 from the field, 9-12 from the line, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, but only +2 in his 27 minutes because they did that big run when LeBron was on the floor and AD was sitting.
Yeah, but KCP has 3 of the Lakers' 6 three-pointers made, and the Nuggets only have 6 of their own. Neither team has even reached 20 three-point attempts yet. As Jokic completes the 3-point play, 18-point deficit now for the Denver Nuggets. Rondo sprays the pass out to KCP. Kuzma, who just came on, is matched up against Porter. Similar players there. Now it's Rondo against Porter. Rondo's been kind of off target with some of these passes recently. He's going to have to create one-on-one going at Porter. Blow by. That's awful, awful defense, Danny.
Yeah, Rajon Rondo beats you in a straight line drive with like 4 seconds on the shot clock. It's a disaster.
Yeah, they had largely avoided getting Porter stuck into those one-on-one matchups. Here's Murray off the screen going at AD. They'll switch this. They want to get Jokic in the post. Nice pass underneath. Craig, though, AD swallowed that up. Late clock, it's Morris. He's got to throw up a tough leaner. Jokic on the glass, and the guards, that's as Jokic got hit in the face, but that's what you need to do as guards, and not enough guards in the NBA do this. Jokic would have had an easy tip-in, but KCP went down and at least contested it, as did Caruso. And an inadvertent hit there from Caruso. I don't know if this will be reviewed or not, but shouldn't lead to any consequences outside of the loose ball for Caruso.
And also, like, Jokic has been trying these passes close to the basket, and when AD's been there to snuff it out, it's been really impressive for the Lakers.
Here's Jokic against AD, looking to hand off to Murray. Good help by Kuzma off of Porter. Murray is going to jack a three, but they're going to get a little foul here, I think, on Caruso as he went through the screen.
Yeah, and that is, I believe, that is the third foul on the Lakers and 2 for the Denver Nuggets. So neither team in the bonus yet, but that's the first in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, Jokic, again, perilously close to a 5th foul. The referees have actually been pretty nice to Jokic here in this third quarter, I would say. Here's Kuzma getting a hand on it. No, it went out of bounds, 7 to shoot for Denver. But the Lakers' defense has been outstanding here in the third quarter, holding Denver to a mere 16 points. You see, again, AD just trying to be physical with Nikola Jokic, not letting him get to his spots. Jokic along the baseline into LeBron, and LeBron got him with the first swipe before he blocked the shot, and it'll be 2 free throws for Jokic. Hilariously, the Lakers have not taken a foul shot in this quarter.
Yeah, and Jokic is, after sitting for almost all of the second quarter after he got that third foul, he got his 4th almost immediately here and has played the entire third quarter.
Yeah, again, there's probably been at least 4 times where he could have picked up his 5th foul.
The worst of them being the Euro foul that he intended to commit and was not called. Where he swiped at LeBron. Oh my God, that one in particular. But yeah, the refs have given him latitude. I've long believed that a foul is a foul, but I mean, given the course of everything and that it's a 20-point game, I'm not going to be as aggrieved about that.
Well, and he got a couple of bullshit ones in the first half.
Oh,
too.
Yeah. The one on the third foul in particular.
Yeah. Here's Davis on the oop again, and I'm sorry that I can't call that very well because it was a terrible camera angle once more. But
I believe that was a one-handed finish.
Well, and so that's just AD faking to go set the screen, and now Rondo knocks it away on Grant from behind. Caruso pushing it up, throws it away, but Rondo recovers. Oh, what a bounce pass to AD for the dunk, and this one could be just about in the books here, Danny. First it was AD backdooring on Jokic without a screen. Rondo, another great pass, and then that bouncer was ridiculous. I can't believe I'm saying that I really am actually enjoying watching Rajon Rondo play basketball, and now they're going to get a blocking foul on AD. Yeah, you can see it here. Just what a extension on that. And then this bouncer, look at this. So good.
And Rondo, an unbelievable passer, especially when you don't have anybody in his space. And he's particularly good at passing to Anthony Davis, who has a ridiculous catch radius.
Yeah, those guys, of course, established the chemistry in their 1 year together in New Orleans, 17-18. Jokic missing the first free throw. And so even with Jokic on the floor, he's negative 16 right now. Murray, who's had a wonderful game, he's got 21 points on only 13 shooting possessions, but he's negative 19 as well. So 2 for 1 time here for the Lakers, leading by 21. Craig trying to pressure up on Rondo a little bit. They set the screen high, and Rondo with the blow-by, but he blew the layup. Here's Davis among 3 Nuggets, recovers, goes up and scores. What a play.
Well, and the funniest thing is Rondo went too early for a 2-for-1 there, but it ended up working out because AD got the rebound.
Yeah, and setting that screen higher on the floor is a nice counter to trying to get Jokic higher up to the level of the ball, because he's not going to get all the way out there on Rondo, and so he can really accelerate an attack. Here's the switch. It's Caruso on Jokic. Guns a pass into the corner. What a pass. What a beautiful one-handed rebound. Did you see that?
You never see somebody get a jumping one-handed rebound. That was incredible.
Yeah, he pushed off with his left hand on Kuzma to grab it. But with this being a 21-point game, I think we probably will pack it in after this. Here's Rondo again, and Murray gives up the foul to give. And the Nuggets' inability to win the minutes with LeBron on the bench when they have their two stars out is something that really stands out from this game.
Yeah, and also, I mean, them having a foul to give.
LeBron, Davis in the corner, his shot, and it's a fifth foul on Nikola Jokic that also gives up 3 free throws to Anthony Davis. And that actually, right there, that should be an offensive foul.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you. I just started laughing because it's just like that was almost everything that we don't like in terms of officiating. Because Jokic closed out to the right to Anthony Davis's left side. That wasn't illegal contact to me. It's just terrible.
And the referee who called it did not have the angle. That should be an offensive foul. That's the Kevin Love rule, the jump to the side. But it does make us feel, with him getting his 5th and Davis presumably going to hit a few of these free throws, feel a little bit better about signing off here. But yeah, that should be an offensive foul on Anthony Davis. That was a horrible call, and the referee was not in position to really see that, who made that call. He just didn't have the depth perception to see that AD leaned into Jokic. But so that's tough, and he sees it happen in front of him. I think that they're, especially on those plays, like the pump fake plays, they really protect the shooters way too much. So, yeah, this might be like the worst game of the playoffs so far. But I think it really is. Like, I've enjoyed this game less than any other game that we've done.
Which is a shame because the first quarter was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was rollicking. Although even then, a lot of that was bad defense too. But all right, we're gonna sign off here with the 24-point game. Even the comeback kids Nuggets. If this were a game 5, 6, or 7, we wouldn't sign off. But this is the Nuggets in game 1, so. We'll be back here. Not sure if we're going to cast tomorrow. We'll let you know that it'll be in that calendar, so please subscribe to that. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you all next time.